not my bicycle, one that had been given to me by somebody in the tour company that day, going down a hill, with which I was totally unfamiliar because we were going around an island and we had been climbing for a while. And at a certain point in time, when we got going pretty fast, borderline out of control, it was time to tap the brakes. And when I tapped the brakes, this bike just didn't have any brakes. So what I saw was this swerving road, increasingly steep downhill, and I didn't have a choice. I had to try to get to the bottom. Well, the last thing I remember was I saw the edge of the road, and I knew it was going to happen. And just like that, before I can even process what was happening, I was on my back because the bike had hit the edge of the ditch. I'd done a somersault forward, landed on the road on my back, and I felt, literally the best analog I've been able to come up with was I felt like I was a piece of bacon on a frying pan because my whole body was just going zzz. And I realized that this was sort of the electricity in my body. The nervous system was doing something. It really didn't like what had happened. And then I tried to get up, and I realized I couldn't move. All I could move were the tips of my fingers and the tips of my toes. And I just sat there and I said, uh-oh, you may be quadriplegic. And that condition continued for a while. Somebody came and got a door off a hut, put me on that as a stretcher, took me to the boat, took me off the island. We got back to the mainland. We got in the station wagon. I was in the back lying down. 3 ferries, 9 hours later, I was in the hospital in Hanoi, North Vietnam, of all places. And they said, listen, guess what? You're going to die unless we do this surgery. You've broken a bunch of bones back here at C4, and there's a lot of damage there, and we've got to cut you open, and we think you'll live, but we can't tell you too much more about what's going to happen after that. So I didn't have a choice. We did the surgery. They slit me open here, took out a lot of broken bones, including one shard of bone that had penetrated my spinal cord itself, and then packed it with some anti-inflammatory medication and sewed up 3 separate layers of not skin necessarily. There's a sheath that protects the spinal cord that had to be sewed up. Then there's some layers of flesh that had to be sewed up, and then finally the outer skin. And I was there in the ICU for almost a week, and then I was able to get a couple flights in a wheelchair to get home with a catheter and things like that. Then my insurance company put me in sort of the quintessential old folks, here you are left to die, rest home kind of thing. And I thought, geez, that's not a good sign. But I got lucky. I found a couple physical therapists there who said, hey, you're in good shape. Let's see what we can do. And, you know, after 3 months, I was able to walk out of there. I had to learn everything all over again. They had told me, when we first saw you and heard your story, we figured there was 1 chance in 100 you'd be able to get out of here walking, but you did. Now, that was great, but it wasn't the end of the story, because when I walked out of there, I was taking probably 15 different medications, including some opioids for pain. One rule of physical therapy is we got to get you moving quickly if we can, no matter what. And if it's too painful, then we're just going to stuff as many pain pills down your throat as necessary to keep you moving or to get you moving. As a result, I had opioids in my system, but I still had a lot of pain. And I was able to wean myself off all these medications down to 1, but I still had this pain, and nobody could seem to solve this pain. It was everywhere below where I had broken my neck. I mean, everywhere. It hurt most in the hands and feet, but it hurt everywhere, literally. And it would cyclically come and go unpredictably. So if you're planning on doing something, if I planned to do something one day, I could never know whether or not I'd be able to do it, because if I woke up that morning, it might be a morning where I couldn't even do anything more than sit up in the bed and go back and forth to the bathroom. So after looking and consulting and being treated by every kind of person under the sun here in this valley and beyond in the medical profession, one day I just got this thing in the mail from Dr. Yu's office, and I thought, well, yeah, I know about lasers, and I know this is sort of the forefront of medical treatment using a laser. So what's going on here? This sounds pretty ambitious with these big lasers. Sounds like maybe something really good can come of it. So based on nothing more than that, just sounded like something might work, I decided to come here. And once I got here, we figured out that I had really a whole lot of scar tissue from the operation, and the scar tissue was inhibiting my nerves. I mean, they could not communicate completely and accurately. They were giving wrong signals because the scar tissue would get in the way. And so we've been working on eliminating scar tissue in my neck area, and then sort of enlivening the nerves in my feet and my hands, because they really haven't gotten a normal workout in a long time, because the signals always kind of get jammed up right here in the neck area. So I've been here for a number of treatments, and every time I walk out of here, I feel better, and the scar tissue is going down. And I just figure that if I keep working on the scar tissue, one day it'll all go away, and then hopefully I'll be exactly where I want to be. The pain definitely has gone down, and it just makes life a lot easier. As some of you know, pain can suck a lot of energy out of your life. And, it really can cap your ability to live. It really limits what you can do, because it limits what you want to do, because your will just gets sucked out of you by the pain. So it's really important to find a way to lessen or eliminate that pain. And I think that's one place where Dr. Yu has done a really great job. He's found ways to successfully eliminate or reduce pain, and he's doing it in ways that other people haven't done it, at least in my experience, because as I said, I've been all over this desert, getting all kinds of different treatments, looking for an answer, asking a lot of questions, and until I got here, I really had no answer. I didn't even have a logical explanation for what was going on with me. So I'm just really thankful that he's here. I'm really thankful that I was just fortunate enough to have that random postcard that day, because if I didn't, I really don't want to even think about how I'd feel right now if it weren't for him. So thanks.
Let's give Roland a hand.